Today we're going to cover the covered calls and cash secured puts analysis page. So let's get right to it. Here we are at the website, myatmm.com, and this is the home page or the dashboard page. We want to go ahead and click on the covered calls slash CSP or cash secured puts link. That'll take us to the covered calls and cash secured puts analysis page. All right, so on this page, this is where we enter all the stock symbols that we want to analyze and screen as possible candidates to start trading with for cash secured puts and covered calls, and just see what's paying what on it. Honestly, all right. I've already entered 3 stock symbols, and just to show you how to use this page, let's go ahead and enter. You can enter one or more symbols. You don't have to enter more than one. You can enter several if you want. And we'll just enter a handful here. Let's see, some other good ones to enter, or not really good ones, but just some other ones. We're just going to have add 3. So you click add. That will add all 3 of these. It'll process and show you a little update message here. And something to note on here, it'll show you the success. If a failure does happen, like you enter maybe a garbage symbol or something that doesn't exist, or just any error that happens with any of the symbols that it's processing, it will log that error, increases failure count, but then you can actually click on it and it'll give you a pop-up with the error message of what occurred. So that's what this does right here. If you are good and it succeeded, you can click reset now, get rid of all those messages. As you'll notice, it added those 3 symbols down here, and if it has information in the database already for them, it will show you a bunch of displayed information here with the metrics and the numbers. If you happen to enter a symbol that's new and has not ever been queried or logged or anything like that, you probably will see a stock ticker symbol here, but all of the values will be zeros. And what that means is it's basically taking your stock ticker symbol, it's queued it, it's put it in, it's sent it to the background process to basically queue and query and update all of the data when it gets a chance to. Sometimes it's processing a lot of other things, so it may take it some time to get to, but it shouldn't take more than a couple minutes at most. It should actually occur pretty less than a minute, I would think. It should update that, and all you got to do to update it is you would click refresh, and that'll refresh all of this data. Also, something else you can do is if you hover over the stock symbol, you can see the last time that this stock ticker was updated. So as you can tell, RUM was last updated today at 12:11. So that was the one we just added a minute ago. So it updated it at 1 o'clock, just a minute ago. But like Apple here, it was last updated today at 9:44 a.m. So that was several hours ago. Yes, we are on the weekend, or I believe it's Monday, so the market's closed anyway, so it won't update. But if you did want to refresh this manually, just this one stock ticker, you could come over to the far right and click this refresh button, and that will throw it onto the queue. And you'll notice on the tooltip it says symbol is queued and will be updated shortly. And what you do is you click the refresh button, and see, it changed off the queue and it updated it. And also if you hover over this, see, it did update it. It updated it to 12:12, so that was less than a minute ago. So it did update it. So there's an example how it didn't take very long for it to update that. I mean, we're talking seconds. It updated that. And you can it updates itself automatically twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon after the market closes. But if you want to update this midday, like something changed drastically, like it dropped or raised high in price, and you just want to get the fresh numbers, you can easily just come in here and click on the refresh. Okay, yeah, since Apple's already been refreshed, it says you can't do it when it's been less than 15 minutes, and that's just so you can't keep on refreshing the same thing. The screen will not give you real-time quotes. So that's what this error message is for, but I haven't done it on the rest of them. And actually, I just added these, so it might give me the error on these guys too. Yeah, see, it gave me on that. All right, 2 of them that were not here before that I know is MSFT and Tesla. So I should be able to click refresh on that and refresh on that. See, I was. So it queued those. I'm going to click refresh and see if it comes back up. Okay, one of them got refreshed, but the other one's still in the queue. See? So if I do, yep, okay, now both of them have been refreshed. And the reason why I know they're refreshed is because the Q symbol went away. It changed back to the green refresh icon, so that's how I know. Something else you can do if you don't like the, like some of the symbols say you don't care for NVAX, you want to get rid of that, you can go and click delete, and that'll remove it from the list. And so what's next on this screen? Okay, we have a bunch of filters here at the top that you can use. So by default, the display type is showing, what the screen is showing, these call bid week 1, it's showing the first 2 weeks of at the money strikes for premium for these stocks. So basically it finds the first week coming up, the first Friday coming up, and by the way, this screen does focus on weekly options. It does not, it actually filters out monthly only stocks. We focus on weekly only options, or at least stocks that trade in weekly options is what I should say. So it's targeting the first 2 weeks, and it'll return the premium for each of those 2 weeks, and it also shows you what the ROI is on that. And all that calculation is this is the first week, the first at the money strike, or near the money it's probably called. It divides that by the stock price and calculates times 52, and that gets you your ROI on an annual basis. And it also shows you the volume for that week. And then it goes out a second week, or sorry, this is the first week because we're only showing week 1. And then it does the same thing with the puts. It does the same thing on the put side. It also calculates the weekly average. So this is the amount that it moves on average. This stock moves on average for the past 12 months. It looks at the past 12 months and shows you what the weekly average has been over that time period. If the stock is a dividend stock, it'll show you what the dividend's paying, and it'll show you what the yield is for that dividend stock. Something else we have is this trend column, and the trend column has 4 versions of this text. It can say bearish, and it can also say bearish with 3 exclamation marks. It can also say bullish with no exclamation marks and bullish with exclamation marks. And what the distinction is between these two is it's looking at the SMAs. I believe it's looking at the 20, 50, and the 200. And when the 20 and 50 are above the 200, that's when it's bearish. When one of them is above, it's bearish with no exclamation marks. When both of them are above it, it's bearish with all 3 exclamation marks. And the reverse is true. When it's below, it's bullish. Same thing. If there's one below it, then it's bullish with no exclamation marks. If both of them are below it, then it's bullish with 3 exclamation marks. So it's just a really crude generalized way of showing you what direction overall generally a stock might be heading. I mean, the only real way to look at this is to pull up the chart and do some real technical analysis on it. But this is just a broad stroke general way to do it, or that I do it in this screen. All right. Any of these columns you can sort by. You can click on them and it'll sort them in ascending, descending order. Same for dividends. So any of them you can sort, even the trends you can sort by. All right, so this is showing week 1. The display type, you'll see that I have week 2, I have volume, and I have both. Both is going to show you everything, every single column I have on these. So let me go ahead and just click both, and you'll see it's quite crowded. Something you can do on this is you can click these 3 buttons right here to get some more real estate, and that'll allow you to look at a lot more data on the screen. And on this screen, or showing both, you kind of need that. All right, so what it's doing is it's doing week 1, but then it also does week 2 the same way. So the first expiration, the first upcoming expiration is week 1. The next expiration is considered week 2. Again, because we focus on weekly options. This screen is tailored just for weekly options, which, I mean, once a month you'll always have a monthly option too in there. But yeah, It does the puts the same way. The week 1 is the first expiration, and then week 2 is the second expiration. So it just hits these three: the bid, the ROI, and the volume. Bid, ROI, and the volume for week 1, week 2 on calls and puts. It does both sides. So that's what's going on with all these metrics here. Okay, something else you can do is you can filter down by a stock symbol. So say you like what these numbers are showing you, but you want to focus on just, we'll just say triple M. We want to focus on just triple M. So we can type that in, hit refresh, and it'll filter down just to that one record so we can focus on that. That's what the stock symbol filter is for. Something else we can do is say we only want a min bid price of something that's greater than 30 cents. So what this is going to do is see how rum is only 20 cents. So if we wanted to do anything, the minimum has to be at least, we'll say 21 cents. It has to be 21 cents. So if we filter that down, by the way, this is showing the record count. There's currently 5, so I'm guessing this should show 4 after this. And the thing about it is I think this is actually not just checking bid 1. Pretty sure it's actually checking bid 1, bid 2, and the put bid 1 and put bid 2. So as you can see, these are all 10 cents. So if we put the minimum at, to see if I'm right, let's do 11 cents, because this one should still go away. We'll see. Yep, I was right. It still goes away. And if I hit 10 cents, let's see if it comes back. Yeah, it did come back because the lowest one is 10 cents. So it'd come back. So that's what this min bid price, it's checking the min bid across all 4, the 2 calls and the 2 puts. And that's just a way to, tell which one has at least some premium in the first couple weeks at the money. Okay, let's get rid of that filter. Stock price, again, works just like the bid. If you're looking for a certain stock range, say you're only looking for stocks that are trading between $5 and $10 a share. So there we go. It only came back with rum. That's the only one that's trading between 5 and 10. So it's a good way to isolate which ones you're looking for. Okay, minimum volume. This is a good way to tell if you're dealing with a stock that has a high trading volume for the options or not. So, and again, it checks all of the volumes just like the bid checks all of the bids. So right here, since we're showing all the columns, you can see all the volumes. So lowest there is the 197, the lowest here is 8, lowest here is 66, and then 10. So if the minimum volume we said was 10, it'd probably filter out rum, I'm guessing. And it did not. Why did it not? Probably because I think what it does is it doesn't enforce all of them. It checks to make sure that at least one of them passes it. And this one had 197, so it passed that one. So in order to get this to filter out rum, I would need to go above the highest one. So it looks like the highest one's 197. So if I did 200, and actually, to be very specific, you could go 198, and I bet it'll filter that out. And it did. So all of them have to match for this volume 1. All right, target position cost. Before we do that, let's just do this one. I'm pretty sure this one works the way you'd think it did. If you only want to look at dividend stocks that are paying weekly options, hit that, and there. Yeah, it only filters down to just the dividends. Positions I don't believe is working just yet, but what this will do is it'll show you just the weeklies that you actually have current positions in. And I'm pretty sure it changes the stock symbol to a badge, so it highlights it. But so basically that's coming in the future. That's not quite there yet. All right, coming back to the total position cost. Okay, you'll see how there's this target size column and they're all zeros. Well, what it's doing, and I'll show you where you can set this. You can change it actually right here. So say for every single position, you only want to be in each position like a max of, since they're $100 stocks, they're kind of expensive stocks. So we're going to say our target position is $2,500. For each position we get involved in, we want it to be about $2,500. So if I enter that and I click refresh, okay, you'll see that the target size is 300 shares, and I'm interested. So I guess 100 of that would be, yeah, quite a bit of money. So we needed to put another 0 on there, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So our target position is 25,000. So that means we can have 100 of this, and notice how it does do it in 100 share increments, so it keeps it in the contract size increments. So all we can afford to do based off of our $25,000 position size is we can buy one contract of this or one contract of that. We can do two of MMM, we can do two of Tesla, but we can do 3,800 shares of RUM, sticking to that same position cost. Now, by default, this showed 0 when we first came in there, and that's because it defaults to 0 unless if you've given it some other number for your portfolio. What you can do is over on the menu again, you can actually go to Preferences, and we're going to say our target position we're going to say is 27,500. That's our target position cost. Click Save. So now when we come back into here, see how it defaults to 27,500 now, and we can see our target size is showing how many shares we can buy of that. So that's a way to mess with target position cost and to get your preferences set to where you can target a specific set of shares, set of contracts to deal with. All right, one last thing. We showed the both, which shows all of the columns available. Week 1 is the default. It just shows week 1, but you can do the same thing with week 2. If you were just interested in looking at week 2, it'll filter down just to week 2. If you're interested in just looking at the volumes for all 4, you can switch to volume and use that to find like the highly active contracts for the first and second week of the calls and the first and second week of the puts. So that's a way to look at that information in isolation. All right. So I believe that pretty much does it for the covered calls. I will also say that adding symbols in here is necessary to start pulling in the last price. And what I mean by that is if you go over to the cost basis screen and add a symbol that is not in the covered calls analysis page, you won't be able to update it on the fly. Chances are there are already quite a few symbols in the database, but if you happen to add a symbol over in a cost basis screen that is not in the main database yet, then it won't update the last price for you, and it won't pull in the weekly average. It won't pull in some of the analysis information that we keep up with here. So if you're over in a cost basis screen and your ticker symbol is showing zeros for the last price and zeros for the weekly average, chances are it's not in our database, and you need to come over here and add it in the covered calls section. And then it'll start getting updated with that metric information, and you'll get that helper information over in the cost basis screen. So that's the only little caveat that I wanted to throw out there. I will say we have over 550 actively tracked symbols currently, and the reason for that is CBOE, the weekly equities, the weekly options that are sold on equities. I've pulled that list down, and there's about 540 symbols on that. So we track all 540 of the weekly options for equities per CBOE's website. So those are the ones that we actively track. But if you enter other stock symbols to track in here that don't deal with weekly options, because you can use that for the cost basis in here, and you can also use it for monthly options if that's what your main focus is on. Just saying that if you run across one where it's not updating those, that's probably why it's not updating those. But in any case, that's all I got for now. I hope you enjoyed it. So I want to thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and go get your free account today at myatmm.com. Thanks. Talk to you soon, and I'll see you in the next one.